Before I actually attended summer camp, I wrote to as many as I could find so that I could experience it firsthand. I collected brochures from horse camps in New England when I was a preteen to soak in the professional pictures of those beautifully coiffed young women wearing buff-colored jodhpurs, tall, soft brown leather boots, and velvet-covered riding helmets, heads up, heels down, as they guided their mounts effortlessly over jumps. All looked wealthy, well-groomed, and eager to one day audition for the U.S. Olympic equestrian team. I wanted to be one of them, but I was the chubby bookworm who spent time reading about horses, not riding them. I was horse crazy in the 1960s. I was that girl who drew horses in the margins of her school notebooks while wistfully dreaming that one day my parents would figure out a way to buy me a horse of my own. That concept was foreign to my parents. They had enough problems putting food on the table and clothes on our backs. When the camp brochures began arriving, my mother asked me, just what is Camp Tila-Wookett anyway? I explained that it was a sleepaway camp in Vermont and it had the best name of all the camps, but I knew I could never go there. Damn straight, she replied. What makes you think we could afford anything like this Camp Tila-Wookett, whatever? I never thought you could, Ma, I replied. I just like the pictures of the horses. Yeah, whatever, you and your horses. I did catch her showing a couple of catalogs to my father. He was just as nonplussed as she had been. How would she like to learn about mucking out stalls? That would fix her dreams about horses. I returned to my room and organized the brochures in order of cost, most expensive to least. I found one in Derry, New Hampshire, a famous New England town because astronaut Alan Shepard had grown up there. It didn't cost anywhere nearly as much as Camp Tila-Wookett. I started saving my babysitting money. Maybe they'd let me go to that camp. When I had just enough money for 1 week at the horse camp in Derry, I presented my plan. They mulled it over for a few days and agreed I could attend. When I arrived for the week-long adventure, I was shocked to discover that I was still the only non-wealthy person at the place. I was also the only chubby kid, and I took a lot of heat about that, to the point that I regressed and went to bed a few times. That made the bullying even worse. However, the person in charge of the horses seemed to like me. She decided she would have me ride a gentle, auburn-colored giant who had done steeplechasing at racetracks. I had only ridden a few times my cousin's horse in Virginia, and he bore a Western saddle. This time, it would be an Eastern saddle, like the ones the girls in the brochures used. The first time I rode him, he looked me in the eye as if he were sizing me up. I mounted the saddle, and off we went. At a walk at first, then a trot. He decided he'd jump over a small bench in the yard while I was on his back. That was a surprise. Since I was still on his back, he seemed pleased. He returned on his own to the riding instructor. You passed his test, she declared. Next time you ride him, you will be in charge. She was right. The next time, I held the reins. He did what I wanted him to. This time, it was me whose photo could be in the next brochure, I thought, even though I didn't wear the expensive gear.